welcome back to the Cousins of the Cosmos podcast here for episode 52, our monthly review for January 2026, our first review of the year.
Yeah.
And I picked a kind of a random one, but I wanted for a reason. So we're going to review Turning Point 2008. The reason why I picked this pay-per-view, this pay-per-view,
you like TNA.
That is true. I'm wearing my AJ Styles shirt, my TNA AJ Styles shirt. My boy Aaron Nova got this for me for my birthday. Yeah, I picked this one because you do not have a lot of knowledge of TNA.
This is my first time watching a TNA pay-per-view.
Right. And this one is not the best one, but this is a pretty highly regarded TNA pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So I did figure, all right, we'll watch that one. It seems like a lot of people enjoyed it. And I did enjoy it, too. I thought it's pretty solid pay-per-view.
It was good.
Yeah, we'll dive in. History-wise for TNA, this is my shit. So, as most kids, I grew up watching WWE, right, in the 2000s. But luckily for me, most kids only watch WWE, right? Luckily for me, flipping through the channels one day, trying to find if any... this was on a Thursday, because TNA was on Thursdays.
Right.
So I think I didn't know... This is at the time where I didn't know what day Raw and SmackDown were on yet. So I was on a Thursday just flipping through. I remember getting to a channel, and I saw Christian Cage. And so I was like, oh, that's Christian. But then I was like, what's... Because you could see the TNA... He was doing an interview.
Right.
And so you could see Jeremy Borash. So I'm like, well, that's not like somebody I know. And then you see the TNA logo in the back. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So pretty early on, I discovered, because then I quickly kind of figured out what TNA was. And then shortly after, I figured out everything of Raw's on Mondays, TNA's on Thursdays, and SmackDown's on Fridays. So yeah, I very early on, I figured out what a TNA was. So I started watching TNA. This is probably like 2007, 2008, where I figured out what TNA was. So luckily, again, most kids only watch WWE and find out what that is later. Luckily for me, I watched TNA growing up with WWE, so that's cool. So I got a lot of history with TNA. AJ Styles is always my guy. He was the first guy. Once I figured out what TNA was, I started watching it, and I saw this 5'10" little Georgia boy doing crazy Pele kicks and shit. I was like, whoever that guy is, he's my new favorite wrestler. And to this day, he is my favorite wrestler. So yeah, I got a lot of history with TNA, but you have pretty much none. But do you want to give any insight of any thoughts, if you have any?
I don't have any like.
You do have one bit of history with TNA.
Oh, I do have. I do have the teeniest bit of history with TNA in that I would come over sometimes to your house and we would play the TNA Impact game, and I would always pick Shark Boy.
There you go.
Because I was just like, Shark Boy looks the coolest.
He looks cool as fuck. Yeah, I remember I got that game for my birthday. It was like my 10th birthday, I think. So this was probably like 2009 or something like that. I got it for my birthday for the PS2. And I remember like you, me, and a couple other kids went into my room and we just played that like all. We were doing like a movie drive-in kind of thing in the driveway.
Yeah, something like
so
that.
I think before the movie started, we went in and played for like an hour.
Right.
And they had the Ultimate X match in there, which was like
we were
my
definitely
favorite.
doing that. Yeah.
And yeah, I was obviously picking. I was probably, if I'm picking people, I was probably picking AJ or Chris Sabin or Alex Shelley. It's probably a mixture of the three. So yeah, and then you were picking Shark Boy, and other people were probably picking whoever.
Yeah.
I remember my crazy grandpa coming in while we were playing, and he was taking it way too seriously. Like so I'm gonna curse, so sorry, but like I'm 10, so you're probably like 8.
Right.
And we'd be playing, and he'd be like, "Kick his fucking ass! Kick his ass!" Like yelling at us, like "Get him!" Like he'd be like, "Kyle, get him! Kick his fucking ass!"
Is your grandpa
like,
JR? What the
yeah,
fuck?
I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, my grandpa's not Southern. I don't know why I did Southern accent, but he would just be like, "Yeah, kick his fucking ass, beat his fucking ass, don't let him get up." And I'm like, dude, it's a video game. Like we're having fun. Like it's And so I think my mom kind of
calm down, Greg. It's soccer.
Right. I think my mom kind of shoot him out of the room pretty quickly, and we went back to having fun. But, so yeah, that's probably your only real history with TNA.
Yeah, other than that...
playing that game for a little bit.
Other than that, this was kind of my newest and first kind of actual experience watching anything with TNA, but with how this went and how TNA is currently going, I might have to start getting a little bit more.
There's definitely more of my personal favorite pay-per-views that we're definitely going to have to dive into at some point.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
But yeah, all right, so starting off, we got a little opening intro here. So I got some... I mean, you already came in, so you might as well just come back in. Or not. Okay. Alright, so, coming in. It's funny how she'll come in as if I talk like this to you normally. Like, alright, so let's dive into this. Like, I'm talking to you like that on a day-to-day normal basis.
Of course.
Alright, so let's dive into some things. We got a little opening package here telling the story. Mm-hmm. And I have a couple notes here. These are just some show notes, but this also has to do with the. So if you notice, Booker T's got an accent.
Does he? I don't think I noticed.
You didn't notice Booker T's accent?
I didn't. I don't think I picked
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Look this up for me because I didn't.
Yeah. So Booker T has an accent. This is a funny thing because he doesn't normally have an accent. Hold up.
You know what I say? I say, look at these bumps. Look at the dress.
You don't
They
hear
say
that?
in my country, they say, if it looks like a
I
chicken,
kind of hear it. Yeah.
if it looks like a chicken, it's a chicken.
Right. So.
What?
So yeah, Booker T's got a bit of an accent here randomly. I think I saw maybe it was New Legacy or the Deadlock podcast. I think they were talking about it. Booker doesn't when he was King Booker, he kind of did this a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously he's not King Booker here anymore. He's moved on. And so they would say that he would just do this randomly from time to time. Like he would cut a promo in his normal voice, and then later in the night have another segment, and all of a sudden just kick in this like Nigerian accent. So that's hilarious because that's not like a staple of his character. He just is like, depending on the time of day, he just decided to break out this random Nigerian accent, which is hilarious. My other note here is on our podcast, on our news podcast, we were talking about John Cena and top matches and rivals, I said how much I hated Edge, right? And how I love Edge now because of how much I hated him. Mm-hmm. On the TNA side of things as a kid, the Main Event Mafia was my Edge on the TNA. Right. I hated the Main Event Mafia. And now looking back, there was some big players in there. You got Sting, Kurt Angle, Christian at some point is in there. Yeah. But watching TNA on a weekly basis as a little kid, they were terrorizing everybody. And clearly it's a through line throughout this whole show. Right. AJ Styles is kind of the main guy that they're targeting. Yeah. So him being my favorite, I hated the Main Event Mafia. Right. I was so sick of them. I hated their guts. I wanted them to go away. Yeah. And the last little note here, I said that there was some drama we had to talk about this show. Did you notice anybody in the crowd?
Was it the Juggalos? Or
but did you notice who was with them?
No.
Scott Hall was with them.
Was he?
Yes.
I didn't notice this at all. I have to look this up.
Scott Hall was with them. So apparently, here's the funny part. So this is in a bad spot in Scott Hall's life. He's not doing too good, right? Mm-hmm. And I think this is after he was in TNA and no-showed an event, and that's where that Samoa Joe promo came from, where he's kind of shooting, and then he kind of gets into it with Kevin Nash in the backstage area and stuff like that. So the drama here was that apparently ICP, which is the Juggalo stuff, they asked Jeff Jarrett if they can come because they were supposed to at some point be like an ICP faction in TNA. So this would have been planting the seeds a little bit. So they had permission from Jeff Jarrett to be there in the front row. Mm-hmm. Scott Hall did not. And so they already had heat with Scott Hall. So he randomly shows up because he's friends with them. So he randomly shows up and is just in the front row. Clearly taking away from it because now everybody, I think at some point in the Rhino match, they're chanting Razor. So like he's taking away from what's going on the show. So apparently Kevin Nash, who's his best friend, actually led the charge on getting him out of the building because he was kind of just going into business for himself, even though he wasn't booked to be there. Right. So yeah, that was the whole thing where Jeff Jarrett was not happy, Kevin Nash was not happy. Scott Hall, in turn, was not happy with Kevin Nash because he was telling him to go fuck off. But clearly, Kevin Nash made the right call because he was taking away from the show. For sure. And in reality, it was probably best for Scott Hall to not be there. Right. Stuff like that. But that is a wild... Because I didn't know this. I've seen this pay-per-view before, but like maybe I just forgot. So when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, ICP's there. That's kind of cool. And I'm like, is that fucking Scott Hall? And so I'm like, what the fuck? And then I looked it up, and that was the info that he showed up uninvited and had to be kind of escorted out. So he's there for like the Rhino match and the Guns match. But by the time of like the Kurt Angle Abyss match, they're gone. Like the front row has completely different people in those seats. So yeah, so that's,
I didn't notice that. Yeah,
some interesting little show notes. But starting off the show, we got a number one contender 10-way elimination match for the TNA X Division title. Whoever wins would be the number one contender. So Eric Young defeated Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, Petey Williams, Jimmy Rave, Consequences Creed, Homicide, Tanahashi, Volador, and Douglas Williams. My notes here for this match. Seeing a young Tanahashi in here was also kind of wild, especially now he's also on his little retirement tour in New Japan. Yeah, I think his last match is the Wrestle Kingdom next month. Mm-hmm. So seeing a young version of Tanahashi who, again, even at this time, was like the John Cena of New Japan. He was like obviously the ace. That's what they call him. So he had been IWGP champion like multiple times,
right?
And then he's just in this random like, I mean, X Division is my shit, but it definitely, especially kind of towards this point, started becoming like just kind of like the lower card stuff. So seeing like the main event guy of all of Japan being in like this random kind of throwaway opening match was pretty funny to see.
Right.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah. Consequences Creed.
Yep. I obviously knew this. I grew up watching him in TNA. So as I was watching this, I was questioning myself. I go, I wonder if Theo knows what's happening right now. And then I think we were playing GTA, and you were like, so like, what the fuck was up with Xavier Woods?
Yeah, I was like, because he was like one of the first people that came into like had like an entrance or anything like that,
right,
and I was watching him come in, and I was like, huh, that guy kind of looks a little bit like Xavier, like a younger Xavier Woods, and I like look closer, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Xavier Woods.
Right. That's funny.
Just had no idea he was in TNA or that was his gimmick.
Clearly had a Apollo Creed kind of inspired gimmick there, which is fun. And he did that on the Indies too, so it was pretty fun. My next note, Homicide. I don't know if you have much connection.
I've heard of Homicide. He was one of the few in that match that I was like, that I've at least heard of.
He's goated, bro. I love Homicide. That man, whether it's TNA or when he was in Ring of Honor or just stuff on the Indies in general, he's always been top tier guy. There's a whole back in FIP, him and CM Punk had a match. This is FIP, which is here in Florida. This was like Largo, Florida, or something like that. They had a match for the FIP World Title, and they actually took it into a strip club. Like there was a strip club across the street from the venue,
right? And
so they had like a street fight, and so they fought into the street, and then went in the strip club, and they deadass were fighting on the stage with the strippers still dancing. Hilarious moment. So I've always loved Homicide. Jay Lethal. I put here Jay Lethal's the man.
I have my note here. The second Jay Lethal came out, I think I was doing like for like at least 5 to 10 minutes, just Jay Lethal's Ric Flair impression, just to myself the entire time.
I got I guess a bit of a vested interest here because I've worked with Jay Lethal multiple times over the years at Tampa Bay Pro and things like that. So he was always cool to me, always good to me. I've told the story maybe on the pod. There's a time where him and I had like a segment kind of together. We had a segment to open up a show, and then we had like a tag match. The Dynasty had like a tag match, and I got involved. I kept getting involved. He was the commissioner of Tampa Bay Pro.
Right.
In the tag match, I kept getting involved. So he comes out with a kendo stick and chases me to the back with the kendo stick. And I remember talking to him about it, and I think maybe I came up with the spot because the promoter wanted Jay involved somehow.
Right.
And Jay just did not care. So I think I was the one that came up with the idea. And he was like, okay, cool, but you better make sure you run. Because he's like, because if I catch you, I have to hit you.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, all right. So we did it, and I ran, and as I jumped through the curtain, he swings, and he actually hits me in the ass.
Oh.
But, I mean, it was fine. He barely got me.
Right.
So he gets me, and so I immediately turn around, and I start laughing, and I immediately turn around, and he immediately just goes, I've never seen you run so fast. So, yeah. And there's also, when we did the Where's Mr. Baseball stuff, I was watching some episodes. There's a whole, 10-minute segment of me and him, and me asking him about, has he seen Mr. Baseball? And, it's me and some other people, but it's mainly us trying to talk to him.
Right.
And it's funny because it starts with us in this kind of field where we would park.
Yeah. And
it's me telling the members we gotta find him. And Jay comes walking by, and we pop up, and we're like, Jay, and he's like, I gotta go, and he runs to his car and stuff. So, long story short, I've had some fun memories with Jay Lethal over the years. So
yeah.
My next note here, Petey Williams is also goated. This man literally created the Canadian Destroyer. Mm-hmm. That's his move. So I've always loved Petey Williams because he always had the coolest finish. To which now is just a transitional move or just a normal move that everybody uses every day. So he clearly made an impact on wrestling because his finisher, the Sweet Chin Music at this point, is just one of the best moves. Yeah. Right. There was a Hurricane Rana that he hit. I think it was a springboard Hurricane Rana he hit in this match. That was smooth as fuck. It was the coolest shit. Yeah. And then my last note is just a fun match. It was just very fun to watch.
Yeah, that was kind of my last note. It was it's just such a fun concept because it's not a traditional elimination match where you just kind of have to put them over the top rope. It's it's two guys in the ring, but they still have to pin each other or make them tap out or whatever. Right. But all 8 other guys are out there, and whenever one leaves, one has to go in and stuff like that. I always thought that was pretty cool. I always love when there's fun little variations to matches like that.
Right. Do you have any other notes for that? Do you have notes in general?
I have notes. Yeah.
Okay.
There's just not a lot of notes for each match. Yeah, that was my last note.
Okay.
It was super fun.
All right. Our next match, the only women's match on the card. Taylor Wilde and Roxy Laveau defeating Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed. I only got 2 notes here. Awesome Kong was her. She always she was I mean, to this day, really is the most dominant woman to ever be in TNA.
Yeah.
She had a very brief WWE run there as Karma.
That's what I wrote down. I wrote Karma.
Right. But in TNA, she was her. Her and Gail Kim had I think they were the first ever Knockouts Championship match, and had a absolute banger. So yeah, Kong was always her, but this match was kind of meh. It was just it existed.
I wrote down Karma. I wrote down Roxy's got picnic pants on because her pants were or her whole gear in general was just very almost picnic. And I wrote down Saeed's got to be struggling here to wear full on formal wear with dress shoes and all in this wrestling ring the entire time. And then my final note here was women doing actual wrestling in the 2000s, not in Vince's America.
This is true. I will get the match was but they
wrestled.
Right, in TNA that was always a thing. There was really no bra and panty. They were the opposite. They were wrestling, which is cool.
Right. I fucked with that.
And I would imagine because at some point Victoria ended up in TNA, Mickie James obviously is a huge TNA knockout. I'd imagine they were very excited when they left WWE. Well, I don't know if they were excited to leave WWE, but when they left WWE, I'd imagine going to TNA they were probably pretty excited that they were actually going to be able to wrestle. I remember remember Taryn. She was in WWE for a little bit. She was the ECW general manager.
A little bit.
So she left WWE, and she didn't really get to wrestle in WWE a ton. She went to TNA, and she redefined her career. Had a great because there's one maybe it's 2012. Her and Gail Kim had a TLC match. One of the best women's one of the best knockout matches ever. They killed it, bro. So yeah, TNA always was kind of an advocate for women actually getting to wrestle rather than just being kind of sexual objects. Yeah. So yeah, there's a promo here, backstage promo with the main event Mafia.
I want to tell you about this one. I got to tell you about this one.
I only have one note here. It just says that Kurt had a great his portion was great. It was intense.
That was a good point. My portion here, it's all in caps. It just says, Kevin, speak up. I can't fucking hear you. I don't know what it was. The interviewer would interview everybody, and they were talking fine. And then all of a sudden, whenever he would get to Kevin Nash, it was just you could just barely hear him. It was just it was he was 20 feet away from the microphone.
That's funny. Next up, we got Rhino defeating Sheik Abdul Bashir. I only got 2 notes here because this was kind of just a throwaway match to me. My first note is Daivari in the house. That's clearly Sheik Abdul Bashir was Daivari in WWE.
Right.
I don't know why they just popped in my head when I saw him walk out. I just was oh, Daivari's here. And my only other note was gore. That's all I got.
I wrote down it's a match.
Yep, it existed.
That's it. That's all I wrote down.
Yep. We got another promo here with the TNA Originals, which is funny because Mick Foley, for some reason, is the leader of the charge.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, he says in the thing that he invested in TNA, so he's the babyface guy that invested.
Right.
But he's not a TNA Original.
Yeah.
Or a homegrown guy. My only notes here was Joe just has insane aura. He was in there with the full brown fit and sunglasses on. He doesn't say a single word in this promo. He actually disappears for all of this promo. He's there when the interviewer walks in. He walks by, and then you see him at the end.
Right.
But other than that, he does not say a word. So I'm why was he even? I mean, I guess because he's a TNA Original.
Right.
He's a part of the storyline. But other than that, he legitimately was just existing. But he had way more aura than anybody else in this whole thing. And my other note here was Motor City Machine Guns are tweeners in this thing.
Tweeners?
You don't know what a tweener is?
I don't know.
Okay, so that's when you're both a heel and a babyface.
Oh, okay.
So at first, because there was a time where they were full on heels.
Right.
I think this is where they were building towards that. So at first I just went, oh, they're heels, but then they come up for the match and they're working the crowd. So I was like, oh, okay, they were tweeners. So that was interesting because that's not something you see all the time. But clearly, they straight up, Alex Shelley just disrespected the shit out of Mick Foley.
He did, absolutely.
That shit was great. And then, it leads right into the tag title match where they're coming out and they're like, come on!
Right.
So I think this was the beginning of them turning heel where, going into 2009, they ended up turning heel.
Right.
And then Chris Sabin had a buzz cut at some point and stuff. I think their story was that they were just tired of they kept going for the tag titles and couldn't win them, and so I think they turned heel and started blaming everybody around them as to why they couldn't win them. So they were here for a little bit, and then they turned back to faces, and they eventually won the tag titles. So yeah, I think this was the start of it where they were very rude to Mick Foley, but not rude to the fans. They didn't blame the fans yet. You know what I'm saying? But it was very fun to see Alex Shelley just like dress down Mick Foley. That shit was great. So yeah, then we go into the TNA World Tag Team Title match.
Yep.
This match is a banger.
That was a good one.
They went 17 minutes. I think this is actually, it might be either the longest or second longest. The Falls Count Anywhere match might be the longest.
They did go on for a little while. I noticed that. Yeah.
So yeah, Beer Money of James Storm and Robert Roode with Jacqueline.
Yeah, that was surprising to me. I was like, what is Jacqueline even doing there?
Retaining the titles over the Motor City Machine Guns of Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. Jacqueline, she was there because she, for a while, was managing James Storm before Beer Money. She was just managing James Storm, and then I think they just included her in that. And then I don't think she was there too long after that. I think she kind of left. Because majority of the time when you see Beer Money, if you watch old stuff, she's not with them. So I don't think she was there too long. But it was still a fun surprise to see because Jacqueline's just a badass.
Yeah, she's awesome, yeah.
They killed it. I got some notes here. My first note before the match started, I just said banger time. It's just time to have a banger.
Yeah.
Beer Money's goated. That's one of my favorite tag teams because this is like, this is the Joker to Motor City Machine Guns Batman. Or I guess you could flip it when they're heels and faces, but these guys are like peanut butter and jelly. These teams always mesh. I'm assuming you don't know too much about Beer Money.
I don't know too much about it. I know you've brought them up before. I know that they're very, very big in like the TNA sphere in terms of like tag team.
I mean, you know Bobby Roode.
I know Bobby Roode. Yeah.
You don't know James Storm or didn't know James Storm?
Not too much, no.
Okay. Yeah, but they're a great tag team. So they were basically James Storm was in a tag team called America's Most Wanted, and then Chris Harris, who was his tag partner, left TNA. So then he was on his own. So it's like the reason they like kind of come together, not reason, but like the explanation I guess is like they were on their own. Bobby Roode almost had like a JBL-esque like rich guy money investor gimmick. James Storm clearly just cowboy.
Yeah.
For some reason, I guess Jeff Jarrett wanted to team them up, so he teams them up. So you get beer money because James Storm's obsessed with beer and he's obsessed with money, so they're beer money. So and there's a point too where they're fully babyface. I loved it. They're fully babyface, and James Storm comes out on like a it's a cooler, but it's a scooter. Right. So he sits on the cooler and scooters out.
This is how I know of them because I've talked about this cooler with my coworker.
It's great. It's great.
That's great.
My other notes here, after Beer Money comes out, then I just go, my goats have arrived.
Right.
Motor City. This theme song is not their best version of the theme song. They have another one. So they have their WWE one. The WWE one's good. Their best theme song is in between this one and the WWE one. There's one that it's this song, like it's this version of the song, but it's more of a rock kind of version. Right. That version is probably their best theme song. And I just said, so good, so fast. This match was great, and Motor City are fast as fuck. And honestly, when you watch them today, they have not aged. Like, they really just look the same. Really they move the same. So, yeah, those are my notes for that match.
I got Jacqueline with Beer Money seems so random, but they got Aura, so it's whatever.
Right.
And then I said, Motor City Machine Guns also have Aura. And I just wrote, just great tag team work, just a great match in general.
And this honestly isn't even their best match. They've feuded over the years.
Right, yeah.
So there's probably a YouTube compilation of them that we'll have to maybe look into at some point because they've had great matches. And again, Motor City, they had great matches with them. They had great matches with Team 3D when Team 3D was there. And then they also had great matches with Generation Me, which was the Young Bucks.
Right.
Before they were obviously like bigger. So Motor City, to me, obviously they're my favorites, but to me they're the best tag team in like TNA history because they just had every team you put them with, they had absolute bangers. And they were like the ultimate babyface tag team. Because there were times where Team 3D were babyfaces. There were times where Beer Money were babyfaces. But like, I don't think anybody was as big as a babyface team as Motor City.
Right.
And it worked better when they were babyfaces facing Beer Money or Team 3D.
Yeah.
All right, we got the TNA Legends Championship on the line. If Christian Cage loses, he must join the Main Event Mafia. And Booker T ends up retaining the title against Christian Cage.
This is funny when you were talking about how like the Booker T had this like kind of accent that was almost somewhat similar to like his like King Booker thing. That's the very first note I wrote down. Was like he just sounds like King Booker but without the crown.
Right.
That's just what this is.
But he didn't he had a robe, right?
He did have a robe. That's what I was saying. It was just a King Booker, no crown.
Right. This match. So the next two matches, I watched them, but I was kind of watching it this morning, I had to like clean up and stuff, so I was watching it, but you may have more knowledge of them because I wasn't fully invested. So my only notes here was from what I saw, the match was good, and I loved Christian's gear, the like white with the like
white gear,
the blue and stuff. That was good stuff.
I wrote that down. I wrote down, does Christian have a bad theme question? Because I don't think he does.
Right.
I said the match was good. It was a good solid match. Welcome to the family, Christian. I was actually like, this is one of the things I really liked about this pay-per-view that I'm gonna kind of go into here is that they have a good job of like with these video packages of like setting up like the importance and stakes of like every single story going into every single one of these matches.
Right.
They just do a good job of getting that set up and getting me invested into it. And it's to a point where it's just like I've never watched TNA before this, and I'm just like, well, what happens with Christian with the main event? Okay, how's that going now? And now I'm like, well, shit, now I got to figure that out and stuff like that. So that's always very, very fun. I think they do a very good job of like storytelling and pacing and stuff like that, even just from this one show in general.
Right. Shout out Jeff Jarrett, man. He was the booker for a good. I mean, he basically created it. Yeah. So yeah, and then you have Dixie Carter who owned it, but Jeff Jarrett was still basically in charge of the. He was the Triple H to the Vince McMahon, I guess you could say. Yeah, I didn't get to see too much of this match, but from what I saw, it was good. But again, it's Christian and Booker T, so
we were talking about. I mean, they're not going to disappoint.
Right. There was something else that this you've seen this clip before, but this is around the time of Booker doing that run in off commentary and still doing commentary. This is like around that time. So, right. Yeah, very fun stuff. The Legends title, honestly, it was kind of a stupid idea, but the design of the title is actually really nice.
It's a cool looking.
I fuck with it, but the actual design, like the actual reasoning of the title, is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, in my opinion, match of the night, we got the Falls Count Anywhere match. Kurt Angle defeating Abyss. My notes here. At first, Screaming Girl.
Dude, thank you. This was something I wrote down. I was like, holy shit, this woman is like ruining the match for me right here.
I don't know what's up with that. Some girl just, for those that haven't seen it, some girl just, they go into the crowd and the whole time in their crowd, there's just, it sounded like a young kid.
Yeah.
Just screaming. But it also didn't sound like, it sounded like the kid was on the other side of the arena.
Right, exactly.
Like nowhere, not like, oh, I'm in danger.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I just want to be annoying, so I'm just going to keep screaming the whole time.
Dude, I was so fucking pissed at this child, bro. I was like, shut the hell up.
Yeah, very annoying. Very annoying. Quick question here. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Wayne Van Dyke, better known as Richard Delicious? He used to work for ACW.
Wayne Van Dyke sounds more familiar than Richard. Actually, now that you say Richard Delicious, now
I'm gonna look him up for you so you can.
Right, I'll rattle through my notes here real quick. I wrote down my goat. Because Kurt Angle is my goat.
Right.
I wrote down about the kid. I wrote down in all caps. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately, Wayne passed away a few years ago. He's there.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this, but when they come out of the crowd and they go back out and they're like in the ramp area and Kurt grabs a chair and stuff like that, the guardrail they came from, Wayne is in the front row marking the fuck out. And so I wish I knew this when he was alive so I could just make fun of him.
Right.
Because I loved Wayne, but he was kind of old school of like, don't be a mark and stuff. But he was like, once me and him got to know each other and become friends, I realized it was very outside, like, don't be a mark. And then once you know him, it's like, hey man, did you watch Raw tonight? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
He was trying to make sure the old vets knew he wasn't a mark,
right?
But he was. So I wish I could fuck with him and be like, hey man, what was up with you marking out for Abyss in the front row of Turning Point 2008?
That'd be so fun.
That was a fun surprise. I didn't know that my friend Wayne was there. Yeah, that was a very fun surprise.
That's fucking funny. What else? I wrote down the flip. He did the flip.
Yeah, I put that too. It does not look real, people. It literally does still.
It's crazy.
Does not look real. It's absolutely insane.
The spear through the wall under that like stage area. I thought that was pretty nice.
And then it just disappeared.
Let's see. There are legends out there of what Kurt and Abyss were doing under that stage. That was funny. That punch chair headshot was nice. Oh, I think I know. It was like Kurt was going for the like chair shot, and then as he was going out, Abyss just punched the chair and it went back onto Kurt.
Right.
And then I just wrote absolute banger time.
The bump that Abyss takes off of like the side stage thing.
Yes, yeah.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, this match of the night, absolute banger. Yeah. Absolute banger. All right, next up we got Kevin Nash defeating Samoa Joe. The match is all right.
Yeah.
And Joe is really him. Joe has unlimited aura. You can see him. He's literally right there. Look at him. He's literally right there.
Can't miss him.
And he's right there too.
He is also up there.
Yeah, he's got unlimited aura, bro. He's the coolest wrestler ever. He's like my idol. If I were a pro wrestler, I mean, I'm a bigger guy. If I were a pro wrestler, I would aspire to be Samoa Joe. Yeah. Like that would be, as a bigger dude, I would want to be Samoa Joe. That would be my true wrestling idol of who I would kind of model myself after for sure.
Yeah, I mean that'd be dope. He did have a lot of aura there. That's kind of what I wrote down. I wrote down biker claws in leather pants. Big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, of course.
And then I wrote down at the end, I was like, it was an okay match, but I feel like Joe should have won.
Yeah. All right. Now, main event time.
Mm-hmm.
We got the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Sting defeating AJ Styles to retain the championship. We just watched this here because timing. I put Sting look. We talked about that. Sting's look as the Crow Sting is one of the most iconic wrestling looks ever. AJ's theme goes so hard and is stuck in our heads still. We literally
I literally have it written down. Just I am. That's my first note.
We watched the entrance and then we paused it to go get some lunch. And the whole time we were like downstairs in the car, we were just like, I am. So good, bro. So good. The spiral tap was fucking insane.
The spiral tap.
That might be one of the stiffest spiral taps I've ever seen. AJ's elbow just like went straight into Sting's gut. Yep. It was insane.
That the white and blue gear. That shit was fire.
So good. So good. And overall, I just put fun main event.
Yeah, it was a fun main event.
This isn't one of the best main events, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah.
But there's definitely better kind of TNA.
My last note here is just main event Mafia for the win.
There you go, man. Yeah, the show closes with main event Mafia standing tall.
Yeah.
So
they won every match.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of Victory Road, my bad. Turning Point. I mixed up the names. There's a pay-per-view called Victory Road. Yeah, that's Turning Point 08. I was contemplating doing 09, so we may have to do that at some point.
Yeah.
I know next month is your birthday, so we're gonna do Tron Legacy for your birthday. But after that, we got an open road to do whatever. I would imagine around WrestleMania time we'll do another WrestleMania.
Right.
But yeah, then we got an open road to do whatever, or we may just watch it in our free time and talk about it. But yeah, you think you're a TNA fan now?
I'm down for more of it, man.
Yep.
I'm excited.
We gotta watch some like Ultimate X matches and stuff like that. I have a DVD. I think it's called like The Best of the X Division. That might just have to be a review where I let you borrow that DVD.
Yeah.
And we watch that. Yeah. Overall, great. Let us know what you think of Victory Road. I did it again. Let us know what you think of Turning Point 2008. And what you think of
Victory Point. I mean Turning Road. I mean shit.
There's Victory Road. There's Turning Point. There's Bound for Glory. That's like their WrestleMania.
Right.
There's Genesis. There was like Destination X, which was supposed to be like an X Division centered show.
Right.
There's Lockdown. We may have to do Lockdown. There's Lockdown, where the whole show, every match is in a cage.
Ooh. Okay.
And Lockdown 08 is Joe versus Angle.
Oh.
That's one of my favorite TNA matches.
Dude, we gotta see that.
That match is insane.
That sounds
so.
Awesome.
That might be the next one we have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you think of Turning Point. I'm mixing it up. Oh my god. I almost said Victory Road, and I said Turning Point, and I thought I said Victory Road. Man, that's crazy. Let us know what you think of Turning Point 2008. Let us know if our opinions suck, if we were completely wrong with our thoughts.
Let us know what you think of Victory Road 2008 as well. Just
for fun. Yeah. I know I got Victory Road 09, so that might be another one we got to watch. Yeah, and let us know in the comments. Maybe let Theo know, where does the story go from there a little bit? What's up with Christian? Because I don't even remember Christian being in the main event Mafia.
Right.
So it's a blank to me too. So.
And just recommend some TNA stuff in general.
That's true. Some TNA matches and stuff for sure. It's definitely good. So yeah, shout out to WNRN of course, and we will see y'all next week.